Hello. I'm going to wait like 3 seconds for. That's probably 3 seconds actually, to make sure that Twitch can hear me. I think they can by now. I've just jumped on. Sorry, I'm a bit later than I expected to be. It is Thursday, so I felt very much obliged to come online. No, I wanted to. Um, and yes, I'm going to continue with this, but I've like jumped on and I want to get straight into it. Sorry, I was delayed by a couple of things. Um, yeah, I'll you know what? I'll skip my usual ramble because I say it every single time. Um, what I will say for those who are watching for the first time, this is going to be a kind of banner. This sort of illustration is going to be the banner art for my channels, because I suppose I could use it for both Twitch and YouTube. Um, that's it. I'm just going to get on with it. I There's a couple of colours here which I'm not really very unsure about. I think the fan is not the right colour, and I'm wondering actually if I make these letter C's white. Yeah, white, because they've got these sort of colour splats on them which I haven't coloured yet. And that means also I will probably end up making these letter A's a little bit brighter here too, because the B's are very bright, or like eye-catching, and the C's, once they're white, I imagine with the colourful splats, and will also be quite eye-catching, and therefore the A's will get kind of drowned out. So I'm going to kind of play it a little bit. Alternatively, I suppose I could make the B's less bright, but that doesn't seem to be the right solution. I wonder if actually just... because one of the things that I keep saying over and over again is I kind of am trying to keep the palette a little subdued. So I wonder if actually this yellow I've gone a bit hard on. He said hard on. What's the colour picker tool? It's that one. So that's yellow 3. What else is yellow 3? Are these letters yellow 3? Yes, they are. Okay. So I wonder if I make those a different yellow. I wonder if actually... no, I don't like this colour either. I briefly had the fan, this... oh, I'm on not the right layer. I briefly had this fan. Have I actually filled the line work by accident? No, I haven't. Good. Okay, I'll start again. I originally had, briefly had the fan this colour, but I don't know. I don't think that's the right colour either. So my intention is quickly to make, and you're going to have to bear with me here because I'm going to play around a little bit here. So grab that colour, make these that colour, because they're going to have colourful splats on them, you see. I wonder if this yellow, which I've called yellow fan, I'm actually going to rename as just yellow 5. And this will be, if I go like that, no, that's not the colour at all. I do find the picker tool in Toon Boom to be highly inaccurate, funnily enough. It's quite strange. Like, none of those are the colours that I'm reaching for. It's so bizarre. So what I'll have to do, I use Colora all the time. I'm not quite sure why. Oh, hey Paul. Sorry, I'm like I've come in a little bit hot because I've come in late, and therefore I feel like I'm playing catch up a little bit. But thank you for joining me. I am just trying to, for whatever reason, Toon Boom is weirdly inaccurate when it comes to its own eyedropper tool. So I end up using like another program to do the job for me. There we go, that's the one I'm after. Yeah, weirdly, both not an accurate eyedropper tool, and also no access to hex codes, which I keep saying every time I'm doing this. Okay, so that's 239, 202, and 107. So I have to like enter in every RGB value manually, which is a bit of a nightmare. Okay, so that means that's now the same color as that one. I mean, I guess I could have just done that and copied those values, but never mind. I used Colora instead. Right, and now if I like make this a little bit, just a little bit, no, not brighter. What do I want it to be? I want it to be a little less bright. Or rather, a little bit more saturated. First of all, let's just pop it in there so I can actually see what it looks like. There we go. Yeah, I think that's better. So let's just go up with the saturation here a little bit. Yeah. I don't think there's any other yellow that's like that in here, so I'm not doubling up on any of these yellows. And then I think I might leave it at that for now, actually. I don't allow raids on my channel. I tried to raid you last time, but it wasn't possible. You know what? I'm trying to think. Did I wonder if I turned that off because someone who streamed, or somebody on YouTube who streamed and was giving out advice, was saying that if you're somebody who has a really small channel, you can get like brigaded by like bots or something, and so they advised having raids off as kind of a bit of a security measure. But do you think that's paranoia? Because I can fully see that being maybe too paranoid. Thank you for informing me. It never happened to me. Okay, well maybe then that's just me being paranoid. Well, I won't obviously stop my stream now to fiddle around with those settings, but next time I'm looking at the Twitch settings, I'll enable them, the ability to raids, and of course once I do get brigaded by online trolls, I will come to you personally with a complaint. That was a joke, by the way. I'm not that vindictive. Rather than all right, you mean alt-right because of the people who'll be brigading me. Am I right? Anyway. Yeah, sorry, no. I guess, yeah, I think that's why I had the raids off. I mean, that's the only reason why I can think of why I would have had it off by default. It's probably just somebody who's more of a gamer, and maybe the art streams don't tend to like attract the same level of malevolence. Maybe. Now that I've said that, I've jinxed it, I'm sure. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to keep that yellow like that because I think that's better than the colour that they were. And I need to think about what I'm going to make this fan colour. I'm going to try that yellowy green again. Oh, and also, Paul, I don't know if you're still there, but if you are my audio levels okay? I hope so. And also, am I recording? I have to check this every time now manually because I have now more than once been thrown... Yes, okay, I am. Apparently I am still manually recording. Great stuff. Actually, apparently I'm only apparently a few minutes later than my last stream, so I don't know why I feel like I'm so late. I don't know. Perceptions, I guess. I just feel like I wanted to be online about an hour ago. That's maybe what it was. Okay, now, does that work? I feel like what I need to do is have the previous version of the color scheme up on my second monitor. I've got this export folder here. Let's see. so I can kind of look at what it looked like before I've started changing all the colours. I'm going to put that here on my second monitor. Yeah, actually no, I do prefer that. I mean, the yellow of the bees are barely different at all, but somehow enough that I like it. And now what I'm going to do with the C's is I'm going to put some colour splats on them, because I think that's going to really change the dynamic. And then I'm hoping with the rest of the stream to just do all the details here on this middle ground table, all these like bits and pieces. That should be that will probably take me up to my streaming limit. Oh my god, I really feel like I'm motor mouthing, and I've even had less coffee than I usually do, so I don't know what's going on. I'm just on one at the moment. Mate, you're on one. You're in one. Okay, colour splats. So sticking with this kind of palette, but I might allow myself maybe another couple of colours, just because they're supposed to be quite punchy splats of paint. So, you know, maybe I'll allow myself one extra colour that's not all that present in the rest of this composition. Does that make sense? Okay, first of all, let's start stroking these splats. That's this tool. This is, I think I say this every time I play this, Yuji Toriyama, and he is, I suppose, most well known. I mean, he's really well known in Japan, but I suppose most people in the West would know him from his video game music compositions. And for instance, he did quite a few of the tracks on Street Fighter 2. So there you go. And like some of the albums he did where it's a bit more synth based, you can kind of hear the links to things like the Street Fighter 2 music. Unlike this baby sample. As far as I can remember, there were no samples of babies on Street Fighter 2. I wonder if I'll get any oh, I've got somebody I need to ban. Impassioned sister. Well, I'm very sorry, but I don't actually have any siblings, so I'm an only child, so that is a lie. That's a lie. Impassioned sister, I don't have one. Therefore you are banned. Banned for lying about who you are. Oh, unless that was someone else's impassioned sister, but as their message was AI viewers streamboo.com, I'm figuring I'm going to use a little bit of logic here and assume that's a bot. I do wonder where these bots get their like what kind of generator does their names. There's probably some online name generation software out there. I remember when I first was playing Skyrim way back in the day, there was a website that would help you kind of, if you just go coming up blanks when it came to names, it would sort of generate names for your Skyrim characters. Okay, I mean, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all the stroke work for the splats and then fill them afterwards, if that's okay, just because I think I'll be doing a lot of fiddling, stroking and fiddling. Don't know about this terminology. I'll be doing like a lot of playing around with the like what colours each of these splats should be. Half of me wonders actually if I even need to keep the line work. Like maybe once I've done the fills, I could probably delete this line work because I don't think it's actually going to add very much. And without the line work, I think it'll actually increase the sort of effect I'm going for with like these C's which have been, you know, coloured in this reality. Yeah. Yeah, you see, for instance, this one, as in this particular track, I'm beginning to get that sense of, oh, this could be in a Street Fighter soundtrack. Or at least some kind of video game soundtrack of that era. I haven't really played many like fighting games, I guess you'd call them, in quite a long time, but my particular preference was Street Fighter Alpha 3 over the kind of standard Street Fighter series. It was sort of quite a bit more snappier, I felt, than say Street Fighter 3 or 4 or whatever ones came afterwards. Anyway, I used to mainly play those games when I was a teenager. I don't really play stuff like that anymore. I mean, so much of it for a start depends on reaction speeds, which obviously as a very old man I don't really have the same reaction speeds I once had. But I do remember there was definitely like a good 2, 3, 4 years where I was obsessed with playing Street Fighter Alpha 3. And then, I don't know if it came out after or before, but a game called Street Fighter versus SNK, which was, SNK was like the King of Fighters series. And that had, this is so nerdy, I do apologise, but Street Fighter Alpha 3 and Capcom versus SNK, or was it Street Fighter versus SNK? Maybe it was Capcom versus SNK. They had like a very similar feel to their like fight system, I should say. Fight. I was never that drawn to Mortal Kombat, actually. Not in the same way I was to the Street Fighter series. And that might be to do with the fact that I'm a 2D animation, a 2D animator, and obviously visually Mortal Kombat is nothing like the, sprite-based Street Fighter games. Well, cell-shaded, cell sprite. I mean, Mortal Kombat, they all had sprites, right? Because that was the era of those games. But I mean, Mortal Kombat was just scanned in and touched up photography, if I remember correctly. It was, actual athletes and actors as opposed to 2D animated characters, which gave it that look. Speaking of which, as in like pre-rendered sprites, fighting games, does anybody remember Primal Rage? And was Primal Rage a Western game? I think it was. Yeah, I think I'm pretty convinced at this point that I'm going to get rid of this line work and replace it. Well, not even replace it, just have the fills doing the work. Because, these sort of. The line work is adding unnecessary noise to the rest of the image, in my opinion. In my very honest opinion. If I remember correctly, this particular track might have a little bit of sexy breathing or moaning to it, so buckle up for that. I wonder if I'd get in trouble on, say, YouTube. So when I upload the recorded streams into YouTube, there's like obviously bits where I have to kind of enter in details about the file I'm uploading. And there's quite a lot about, whether the video is intended for kids or, what the child safety stuff, right? So if I'm listening to a piece of music, I just kicked something under my desk. It's just a plug, that's fine. If it is something which has, say, suggestive moaning, like how does that affect YouTube? Because I always upload, it says, is this video intended for kids? And I always say, no, it's not intended for kids, because occasionally I drop an F-bomb or an S-bomb, or something happens. But I also don't, there's like another little checkbox which says, restrict this to like adults or 18-year-olds only. And I don't tick that either, because I feel like, there might be some 15, 16-year-olds who might be interested in this sort of thing, if they're maybe, I don't know, looking into being animators themselves or something. But technically that they're minors. And so, yeah, how much trouble would I get in if there's a piece of music that, might be a little bit adult. I mean, I'm not listening to pornographic soundtracks, but yeah, again, oh wait, but hold on, I'm an idiot. It's not an issue. I completely forgot. I've turned off the music on YouTube, so forget it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I don't even know why it's not an issue. There you go. There's on Twitch. You can probably hear this. It's definitely of an era, this kind of the kind of lady moaning in the background. They don't do that so much these days. But yeah, I forgot. Of course, on YouTube I've turned off the music, and not just for the reasons I've been talking about. Just in general, it's better not to have music on your YouTube uploads, because otherwise, unless they're commercially, what's the words? Not commercial, license free. All right, enough waffling. Let's put down some colours. I wonder if I should even already delete the line work. Let's do that, because it'll be more more accurate to how it's going to look. Goodbye, line work. I suppose the question is still, I suppose it's probably a bit of a grey area. I mean, say I still did have music playing on YouTube and the question remained, I suppose it is a bit of a grey area. I remember, and I think it may have been Limmy, the streamer Limmy, who said this, that if you drop a swear word, like within the first, is it 10 seconds or half a minute of your YouTube video, that does something, like changes algorithmically how it's shown to, or who it's recommended to, that sort of thing. So I won't start the stream screaming expletives. Sorry, but I won't do it. I might scream something else, but it won't be expletives. Okay, so that is... Oh, you're being a little bit laggy today, aren't you, Toon Boom? Alright, let's turn the strokes back on, and I'm just going to throw some colours on here. I'm really sorry about the yawning. Let me drink some of this coffee so I wake up a little bit. I've now got to decide what colours I'm putting on here. Uh-oh. Let's see. Look at this number 3 thing here. This one down here. and work out what colours we can use. I think... Is this the first Yuji Toriyama track I heard? No, it wasn't. It was another one from a different album, which I've put in my playlist to play, I think, after this particular album. A track called Maze, M-A-Z-E, which is like really interesting to me. And then I found out, you know, he's actually quite accomplished, and the video game connection. So there's that. Okay, shall we start off with green? I think so, but not the green of the fan, but rather this bluer green. I'm gonna start with this big guy first. Again, I can change all these colours at the drop of a hat. And also I'm going to turn on... Oh, it's already on that good. No close gap. No close gap. Do you like the grammar of this? No close gap. Not... no close gap. Close small gap. Close medium gap. Close large gap. That's fine, but no close gap. How would you write that grammatically... correctly grammatically? No close gap would be not closing gaps, or disable gap close. No gap close would be better, right? No gap, or no gap closing. But I guess, you know, no close gap, that works. No close gap. I wonder if actually we just have the green, or that whatever this colour will be, just like going through like that. I wonder, does that work? And maybe then actually what we need... Oh, auto-saving. Maybe we also need the green to be... We need the brush tool for this actually, rather than the stroke tool. Have the green also here. Let's try that. I wonder if actually even it just goes like that, just to sort of simplify things a bit. Yeah, that works. I mean, do I keep it all that green? Maybe, what if I make that bottom bit of green more of a... let's see it from a distance. Oh, if I made it more of a... I'm leaning towards red. Yeah, I can dig it for now. I can dig it. And I think I'm happy with these being, like, apart from the colours, these C's being this colour. I might actually add another couple more splats on though, because this one's looking kind of like it probably could do with another splat up here, but I won't bother with doing the actual line work. I'll just do it, you know, straight with the stroke tool. And then maybe we could go for a yellow, quite a punchy yellow, I think. And maybe a purple. No, not that purple. That purple? Let's have a look. Let me try that one again. No, I think we're going to stick to that one. If actually that colour at all. How about that? That one? No, actually, I think we go for that. We stick to that. Maybe I'll do the pink one up there. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's see if this works with the pink. No, yellow. That can stay yellow. But actually, can it be more of an orange than a yellow? No, let's stick to that. But I might make the splat up here yellow. So let's just go straight into the stroke tool and do another kind of splat thing up here. Do I want it to be more of a splat or more of like a dribble? I'm thinking... How have I got it on that one? It's all splats on that one. I'm thinking like a slightly bigger splat. Technically this is drawing again, so I've gone back to the drawing stage, back to the drawing board. Okay. Okay, and if I make that, let's see what it looks like if I make that orange. Oops! See, now I do need close gap. Not no close gap anymore. Oh, you're not gonna... Here, where have I messed up here? As far as I can tell, this is closed. Is it not? There we go. That should be fine. There we go. Alright, do that one. Delete these. And let's see, did I close all the gaps in this one? Wrong tool. Perfect. Right. You know what? This needs like a bit more like of these little what would you call them? Like drop bits of shot off. Back to this. It needs like a bit more layering here. Just needs to look a little bit more lively. Not quite so much cream. Not that happy with that shape. Let me do it one last time. That's better. Okay. Oops. I'm going to have to do this thing again, where I delete in order to delete this excess line work. There we go. And now I can go back to that. There we go. And there. Okay, let's have a look. I think that works all right. I'll do the other one, the smaller C, which is in the rear, more in the rear. I wonder if I could do one more, like something here. No. Okay, and then I'm going to make this one red again. Okay. Yeah, I like that effect, and yes, taking away the line work was the right decision. I wonder if, though, much like I have done with the orange, if I need to have some of these bigger blob bits broken up a little bit by, sort of spray. To kind of give the impression of, them being covered by colour over time. Oops. My no close gap joke is now coming back to bite me. Strong comedy bit is now coming back to haunt me. Because I keep needing to turn no close gap to close gap. I recently learned that in the UK, we're all very familiar with the expression egg on my face, as in, that's embarrassing and I'm going to have to live with that consequence, so that's egg on my face. And in the States, even though I lived there for a while, I never picked up on pie on my face. They don't say, oh, that's egg on my face. They say that's pie on my face. Which maybe makes more sense, like if you think about clowns and how they would, I guess, throw pie in one's face. What is going on here with these strokes? These are crazy, never-ending strokes. Look, I keep deleting them. They're not going anywhere. How weird. That's fine, they can stay there. Maybe if I just move them, I can get rid of them. Whoa! Okay, I don't know what's going on. These are some very odd strokes, so I don't know what you're doing, but I'm going to leave you to just be there like that, being weird. Also, I need to fill it. That's the whole point of why I was doing that. D, I, there we go. Whoa. What is going on? Okay, let me do it this way. You're being very weird, Toon Boom. Do that. And then maybe I can go like that. Then delete that, delete that. And now will you let me get rid of you? No? What is going on with these strokes? I wonder if it's just because it's like very small scale what I'm doing here, and it's just causing a bit of an error. I don't know. I'll leave it at that. That seems to work well enough. That's fine, that's fine. It's like I say, really small, and that's probably why it's being a bit weird. Okay. Yeah, that works. Doesn't feel particularly sophisticated, but it works for what I'm intending. Oh, my phone just vibrated, excuse me. Anything important? No. Don't know, was I imagining things? Maybe my phone wasn't vibrating. Let's put this onto silent for now. You can kind of see my screen now, which is a little bit annoying. How about if I do that? Is that more or less annoying? Okay. How rude of me. Let me put that away. Notice my cough. Or maybe don't notice my cough, because I don't seem to be coughing at the moment, which is incredible. Have I finally... Oh, I quite like that. You know what? I might have a few of these like slightly more thin... They're like adding a level of realism that I quite like. So let me do a few more of these. Sorry, I feel like I've gone back into the line work phase here a little bit, but that's kind of working for me. So I'm going to do a couple more of these for the other colours too. I'll try not to hum too much. That's annoying, especially for people on YouTube who can't actually hear the music, as I've covered this already. So to hear me then hum to the music, seems pretty ridiculously stupid and annoying. Is that necessary, that one? What does that look like from a distance? No, I don't think that one is actually necessary. Let me get rid of that. No, you're not going to undo. There we go. Perfect. I hope it's okay when I'm quiet sometimes. I do apologise. It's usually when I'm just a bit more focused, but I'm hoping there's enough going on, both in your lives and also with what I'm doing here, the process, that it's not ruining everything. Yeah, I think I quite like that. I wonder if actually maybe this can just get moved more like that. Although now there's that gap, so actually no, I'll leave it as it is. Might do one more yellow, just going over this bit of purple. No, you're not going to work? Wrong tool? Is that what's going on? Wrong tool, I think. Yeah, wrong tool. Oops. Okay. There we go. I mean, I might think about putting another colour on there later, but let me do this one first. I don't want to spend ages on just the one and neglect this one, because that way I'll be able to get that, I'll be able to see where we're at. So I think with this one I might do a green. Ooh, excuse me, apologies. I know I'm really yawning. Really yawning at the moment. Horrific. Nope. Oh, is that like a gap there? Yeah. Is that the right green? What happens if I go for this one? I don't think it'll be this one. I don't think this will work. No. And that's too dark. Yeah. Okay, I'll leave it to as that green. Are these too eye-catching for the composition? I wonder if I need to actually make these less punchy. Yeah, I think I need to make this bit a little less, sort of balance it out a little bit. Let's try that beige rather than the white that they are. Is that any better? Not really. It seems just as out there. Well, it's a shame. I wonder if... because I quite like the way they look, but I just think maybe they're throwing off the balance of the whole thing. I wonder if I just make them like 3 different shades rather than all different colours. So like one is just various shades of orange. Possibly, would that work? Tell you what, I'm going to do a little export. Let me finish this one like I was, and then I'll do an export so I can kind of contrast and compare. So I'll make this one that purple colour. light purple. Yeah. I guess that leaves it the yellow. Yeah, let's do the yellow for this. Nope. And so what colour should that be, that drippy bit? Maybe I'll make it just the same colour as this, the yellow. Right, now, I think they are maybe a bit too much. So, let me do that export so I know I have like a bookmark, so to speak, of this particular configuration of colour. And then I wonder if I make them more of a monochromatic sort of affair. Or like dual chromatic. Like say with this one at the back, it'd just be yellow and purples. So yellow, purple, yellow. Let me turn the strokes back on. And then these purple. Is that any better or is that actually worse? Let's see. Might be worse, who knows? Yeah, I think that's better, isn't it? So I just need to think now what I'm going to make this slightly bigger one at the front. Just a couple of colours. I wonder if I do this one more of a either orange green or orange red. Or even actually green and red. Like main body green with red splats on it. Let's refer to my colour palette. Yeah, maybe stick with the green and then have some red splats. I think this works better. You see, you got to keep playing around. And I'll probably end up changing this all again, who knows. You can't pin me down. I don't commit until I absolutely have to, which means I get nothing done. God bless. Okay, right now it looks like a mess, but don't worry, everything will become clear. What colours did I say? I've already forgotten. It was green and what? Green and... did I say red? I think I did. Would make sense if I said red. Oh, except... we've got some... oh, I guess that doesn't really matter. Don't think that matters, really. Excuse me for 1 second. I'm just going to do a really big cough, so I'm going to mute the mic. I'm going to work until around 4:30 today. I hope that's okay. I don't think I'm going to get quite as far as I hoped I would with the table stuff, but I'll try. Let's see what that looks like, actually, just out of interest. I think it's going to look too much still. Yeah, too much. So, I think the red might be what the issue is. I wonder if it's the yellow or the orange I stick with. What other oranges do I have? I feel like I've only got one. I've got like a brown orange, but I actually only have one orange shade. And that's probably because there isn't all that much variety of orange in this restricted palette. So let me... I'll tell you what, I'll make these reds orange as they are. Orange, orange, orange. That's my Boards of Canada reference. See what, I'm going to actually... which album are we on? Because I wouldn't mind it playing the one I was talking about. The one that has Maze. Yeah, it's this one. Do I actually play Maze first? Yeah, go on. So this is the first track by Yuji Toriyama I ever heard. And I liked it a lot. I wonder if you will too. And then I'll add the rest of the album on after this. Play next. There we go. This is like a slightly later album in his discography, and you can kind of hear the sort of more 80s synthy programming in it, production values. Okay, what do we think about this colour? I mean, it's better, but I do wonder if I need to make the orange have a lighter orange. Do I not already have one? Feels like I've got so many various yellows. You'd think I'd have a slightly lighter orange, but I don't. Did I actually make one and then get rid of it? Well, I'm going to make one again. Orange 3 for those keeping counts. Stick that under orange 2. And yeah, let's go for a slightly lighter, but still within the world of orange. Usually just involves less saturation, more vibrancy. And then occasionally, I mean, I could probably just, no, I'll do it this way. Like, when does orange just become like all the other colours I've done? Hold on, let me have a look. How does that compare to my yellows? No, I'd say that's still in the orangey orangeness. Let's see, I wonder if that's hugely different to what's already there. Oops, I'm pressing the wrong button. I did not mean to do that. There we go. I'm meant to be doing that. And then that. Okay, let's see. I kind of want to keep the colour reference in view just so... Yeah, okay, I think that works. Let's quickly do it like this. Anyway, I don't know about you, but I really like that track. I'm trying to remember where did I first hear it? Was it NTS radio? Or was it a YouTube video or a YouTube mix? May have been both. Sometimes I think I listen to the same or watch the same videos that a lot of people that DJ on NTS also listen to, because sometimes I notice there's some real coincidences when I've heard something and then like within a day or two I hear it being played on NTS radio and I think, I'm onto you, NTS. I think I know where you've heard that. I think I've heard it from the same place too. Or it could just be coincidences. Okay, well, I think I'm going to leave those C's as they are right now. Arguably, I could probably put like a bit more purple here, but then maybe that's a bit too cute, like a little too balanced. So I'll leave that. What I'm going to do with the next 20 minutes is just stroke out and fill some of these bits on this middle ground table, just so I'm not doing one thing during this stream, which always depresses me because it just seems like everything takes forever. I'm wondering actually if I might even need to... I'm going to go really crazy here. No, wait, hold on. What would be the best way to do this? No, I will. I tell you what, I'm going to work on the overlay layer and then copy and paste the fills back onto the colour layer, just because I've got all these annoying table strokes here. I mean, if I was being a bit more sensible, or if this was going to be properly animated, I would just do this on a completely new layer down here, not even like one of these, but like an actual layer. What are these called? Yeah, it's weird. These are also called layers. There's like these layers here, and these are also layers. I think they should be called two separate things, but anyway. I just call them sub-layers. That's probably the best way to call it. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not going to work on a whole new actual layer. I'm going to work on a sub-layer instead. Just because it's easier and I'm lazy. Easier to kind of keep track. And like I say, if I end up doing any animation of this banner artwork, it's going to be really subtle and therefore probably doesn't need that much layering structurally. It's not like I'm going to be rigging anything, you know what I mean? It'll be like a little bit of frame by frame here and there. Like, I think I said this already, did I? Like, I would have maybe the letters come in like A, B, C with the little cursor underscore thing moving along. What else? The fan, like a really, maybe like a 4-frame fan turn. There's probably something else I could animate. The balloons, like, you know, because the fan's on, right? So maybe have the bees like swaying because of the influence of the fan. I don't know. Much else? Not really. They're probably like the odd sort of blinking light here and there, but that'd be it. Really subtle. So yeah, nothing crazy. And again, I don't even think I should be animating this because I think I should prioritize the actual point of this channel, which is to have an animated alphabet at the end of the day. Hold on, can I turn off? Oh, I see. Okay, that's all the same layer. Right, this is going to be quite annoying to see what's what. But I think I can do it. Yeah, I can kind of see what I'm doing here. Maybe I should have made there should probably have been two middle ground layers rather than just the one, but it's fine. It's fine. I think I might have actually accidentally deleted some line work here. Oh well. Can redo it. Weirdly, I do not remember there being any lyrics in this album, but there are. Well, well, well. I'm not recognizing the singer. I was doing so well with the coughing, and now I've started again. I've not made my life very easy here with the line work, have I? Oh, this sounds a bit like Art of Noise. Wouldn't surprise me if it was actually a sample. Hold on, I need to cough again. Excuse me. Muting the mic. Hello. I refuse to let the cough stop me. Stroke tool, please. Yep. Okay, what's going on here? Hold on. Right, I think what's going on is this is going here. This is going up here. This is just some like made up contraption. Oh, I see, and that's the balloon behind it. Okay, I can delete that line work in a second. Yeah, I need to delete that line work from the balloon because it is very confusing. I'm trying not to be too fussy with all the strokes. Is the track I'm thinking of where this sample is probably from, is it Art of Noise, and is the track also called The Art of Noise? Or is it close to the music? Or is it close to the edit? Maybe it's close to the edit? Any Art of Noise fans out there. Maybe it's called Close to the Edit is the one I'm thinking of. Has a really bizarre music video as well, featuring a chainsaw and a snorkel, I think. It's weird. They just raided the wardrobe department, I feel like, to do that music video. Or someone's garage. Art of Noise is one of those bands where they had like, I don't know, maybe 4, 5 well-known releases, but their influence, I think, like far outweighs how much output they put out there. It's what's his name, isn't it? The guy, one half of the Art of Noise is it Trevor Horn? Hold on, I don't want to spew false misinformation. Let me just check it out. Art of Noise, right? Wikipedia, please. I could probably do Discogs, but I'll go Wikipedia. And yes, Trevor Horn, right. Oh, and Lol Cream as well. Okay. Oh yeah, but I think he came later. So Lol Cream from was Lol Cream in what's it called? 40cc, 20cc. What's that other band? Oh no, I'm losing track of my 80s music. Who are the people who did I'm Not in Love? 20cc, right? And wasn't Lol Cream in that? 20cc? No, what's the band? Something cc? Oh my god. Hold on. I'm Not in Love. Not in Love. Single. Is that it? 10cc. 40cc, 20cc, no, half that. 10cc. Oh no, okay, I thought Lol Cream was in this band, but no. I don't think so. No, he was. Hold on, I'm going to read this out to you really quickly. Written mostly by Stewart, as in Eric Stewart. This is now I'm Not in Love. You know, the one that goes, I'm not in love, so don't you forget it. I think that's how the lyrics go. Written mostly by Stewart as a response to his wife's declaration that he did not tell her often enough that he loved her. I'm Not in Love was originally conceived as a bossa nova song played on guitars, but the other two members of the band, Kevin Godley and Lol Cream from Godley and Cream, were not impressed with the idea for the track, and it was abandoned. Can you imagine that being a bossa nova track? Anyway, so yeah, Lol Cream was in 10cc, and then I'm assuming 1983. Yeah, and then he obviously set up or joined Art of Noise at some point, but I don't think he was a founding member by the looks of it. That was... I thought it was 2 people, but it's actually 4 people. It's Gary Langan, the producer, programmer JJ Jeszalik, or Jeszalik? Is that Polish? Anne Dudley, of course, from... what was she in, Anne Dudley, apart from Art of Noise? She was... sorry, I've gone so off tangent here. Anyway, Trevor Horn, yes. Trevor Horn was in the Art of Noise. And why is Trevor Horn interesting? Well, only because Trevor Horn produced huge bands like... I mean, what band didn't he produce? I'm going to bring up some of the bands he produced. Frankie Goes to Hollywood. He also produced Grace Jones, of course, famously. He produced Do They Know It's Christmas with Bob Geldof. Yeah, but in the sort of late 80s, early 90s, he produced pretty much everybody. Mike Oldfield, Seal, Thomas Dolby, Tori Amos. Apparently Pink Floyd. Did he? Anyway, Foreigner. Okay, anyway, I'm going to move on. Sorry. That was a whole great big tangent. And the reason I was talking about Trevor Horn is because there was a sample that I feel like Yuji Toriyama, who we're listening to, was using in one of those songs we just heard. My goodness me. I can only apologise for that pathetic tangent. But at least I wasn't lying when I said I'm pretty sure Trevor Horn was part of the Art of Noise. And I'm not quite sure when Lol Cream of Dudley and Cream joined 10cc, but I don't think, not 10cc, Art of Noise, but he wasn't a founding member. You know, the more I'm listening to this album, and I've heard it millions of times, but the more I'm hearing it and thinking of the Art of Noise, I'm realising just how much of an influence they clearly were on Yuji Toriyama at this point. Certainly, the Art of Noise's album came out only a year or two before this one, so there you go. I think it's safe to say Mr. Toriyama had a copy of the Art of Noise album. Okay, I'm going to try to basically do all of the line work for this particular contraption. Ooh. And then I might have to go, because we're getting close to 4:30, but I'll allow an extra 3-4 minutes because of that absolute time waste of a Wikipedia article investigation, if you can call it that. I try to retain all this information, but sometimes it's difficult. But in my brain, I have got like a very sort of nebulous mind map of all the various interactions. I'm sure I'm not the only one. In fact, I know I'm not the only person to do it, but all the kind of various bands and their touchstones, like Thomas Dolby and how he produced a Prefab Sprout, and then how Prefab Sprout, you know, probably influenced a lot of Prince's output in the early 90s, and how Prince had a singer called Ingrid Chavez, and Ingrid Chavez was married to David Sylvian, and David Sylvian was an integral member of the English band Japan, who I also really like. It's like all up in there, just all these like 6 degrees of separation, when it comes to music, and because it's all music I like, it's quite funny how obviously all these people kind of travel in the same circles. And yeah, it's always really eye-opening when you discover a artist's influences, and sometimes just how directly they I'm not going to say we're biting their style, but you know how influential. Like the big one at the moment, I think I brought this up already, or maybe it was in my offline. I was talking about how at the moment online there's a lot of footage. I guess it's because the Michael Jackson biopic has just come out, and there's loads of footage of Bob Fosse, who was a dancer, quite a famous dancer in the 60s and 70s and 80s, I think, and just how clearly Michael Jackson, can I say ripped him off? I'm not going to say ripped him off, that sounds rude, but was very, very influenced by Bob Fosse. I mean, we all knew that Michael Jackson was really influenced by, what's he called? The very famous dancer of the 30s and 40s. What's he called? Oh, I've forgotten his name. Very famous guy. Dancer. Very famous for tap dancing. I won't remember his name. That was kind of obvious. And I think, he probably name-checked him a couple of times, Michael Jackson this is. But there's something about the way Bob Fosse dressed and moved and his kind of attitude, which seems so close to what Michael Jackson was doing later, even more so. And yeah, it's quite funny. I, of course, am totally original, and everything I do is, untouched by influence. It just comes all straight from me. I'm literally a cipher for I don't know, the gods of creativity. Never once have I been influenced. It's all original. Totally original. How do I do it? He says whilst working on a Sesame Street tribute project. I was joking. I'm pretty sure when I've, like I said, I've been watching quite a lot of these 70s, 80s, early 90s vintage Sesame Street episodes, and I'm pretty sure the guys who then went on to do Rugrats in a kind of late 80s, early 90s were doing quite a lot of animation work for Sesame Street, because their like style is so clear. It's like such a clear style. I mean, it's really nice actually. The level of detail those guys got up to in their frame by frame is mad. Really nice actually. You don't really appreciate it when you're watching Rugrats as a kid, but it was one, quite well written, and two, amazingly animated. Especially like the first series, which I don't think they could keep up with because it was probably just too economically unviable. They just went all out, like from the intro sequence to the actual show animation, just wow. Maybe if it had been like a feature film, but for a TV show, that's unsustainable. These orchestral stabs are so out of noise. What time is it? Okay, I'm going to go in 5 minutes. Will I get this all lined up? Yes, I'm going to really try. I might have to go quiet though, so I'm using 100% of my brain to do it. So just watch me work. Watch me work in silence. And I probably won't have time to fill it, I'll just have time to stroke it, and then I'll try to remember that I've stroked it all. And then unfortunately, I said I was going to be quiet, but I'm not. I'm going to talk about my next possible stream. Won't be for a while, because I've got quite a few things lined up now. I'm going on a trip. I also have potentially some paid work coming up, which obviously will take priority over the stream. I know that is probably very disappointing to hear, but I have, bills to pay. I wish I didn't, but I do. I mean, I need to pay the bills just so I can power my computer to stream, right? So there is that. Can't stream without paying bills. They'll take us off the grid. So yes, I'm going to, if I had to pull a number out of thin air, a date, or at least a period of time when I think I might be able to do some streaming next, I'm going to say possibly a fortnight's time. Maybe 3 weeks. Oof, is that really bad? That is really bad, isn't it? I'm trying so hard to be consistent, but what can you do? It's really hard to be consistent when there's many plates are spinning. So please don't unsubscribe and don't forget that I exist, because I will come back to this. Because I'm enjoying it, and I think I'm getting a bit more accustomed to it. Like, for instance, today, even though I was a bit on one when I started, I just jumped straight on from nothing, which once upon a time I think I wouldn't be able to do. I would have had to warm up a little bit, but I went in cold, but I actually went in hot. Okay, now I'm going to focus. Come on, let's at least finish this, whatever it is, gadget thing, before I log off for a while. Don't hate me. I didn't even mention what happened yesterday to me in the weather. Here on the Sussex coast, we had some wild hail yesterday, as in hailstorms, and I got caught. It was like one of those tricky things where it was hailing for a bit, and I managed to find some shelter, and then it got really sunny and in fact really warm for about 10 minutes. So I thought, this is good, I can leave now, leave my little bit of shelter. And of course, then it really started hailing, triple the amount of the previous session of hail. And yeah, it was very intense. It was almost like snow. It was so much hail that it was beginning to pile up, and corners of the street were looking as if they'd been covered in snow. It was, and this is, where are we? We're in mid-May, so that was weird. And I managed to find some more shelter under a tree, which was also a bit terrifying. It wasn't a particularly tall tree, but there was some thunder. So you know that whole thing, how you're not supposed to be under a tree during a thunderstorm, but thankfully it was a stubby tree. It wasn't it was like stubby and had a big canopy for me to hide under. Because that hail, not only was it coming down thick, it was also chunky. I think it might be the chunkiest hailstorm I've ever experienced, or at least can remember. I don't think I've ever. It was like some of the hailstones were like 2 centimeters squared, or like 2 centimeters in diameter. So, yeah, intense. And that lasted a good long while. Like I said, it started piling up, and it was still on the floor. Like I got home about half an hour later from where I was, and it was still there in some corners, like where it hadn't melted away. Because like snow, I guess, it had sort of cooled down the pavement and like grassy verges and stuff to the point where it could sort of sit there for a bit without melting. So there you go. I've talked about the wild weather we had. I was wondering whether I would touch it, and I have. Touch on it. Is that it? Have I done it? Is that the whole thing? I think so. I guess I could maybe just do this bit of the tubing. Yeah, and now I just need to remember. Oh, I tell you what I could do, just so I remember that I've done this, because, like I say, if it's a while until I'm back, I'm bound to forget that I've actually stroked off this bit. So let me just give it all like one colour of a fill, and then I can I'll be like, oh, okay, I've done some strokes here, and then I'll work out that I've actually done more than just a few. So let's see, what colour should I make that? I will make it some kind of exciting colour. No, I'm going to make it... do I make it like a grey for now? I have that kind of bluey grey colour somewhere. Where is it? Is it that purple I'm thinking of? Do I want to make it that colour for now? Or do I just make it straight up grey? I think I will make it... Let's have a look here as well for balance. I think I will make it... Maybe that... Oh, no. I was going to make it beige or cream, but... No, I'm not feeling it for this piece of machinery. I think I will make it this purple colour for now, and then I'll change it. But it's purely for me to... when I come back to this, whenever I do, I'll be like, okay, I've stroked this, and yes, you can see, because I'm working on the overlay layer, it's looking like I'm going over the line work, but have no fear, it's just because I'm on the overlay sub-layer. I'm calling these sub-layers, as opposed to full-on layers. Layer. Oh look, here's Maze. What a perfect, as in the name of the track, perfect timing for me to leave. Alright. Oh no, you're not going to fill because I've not closed you off. I think, do I actually maybe, if I grab this, cut it all, and then put it on the underlay layer. Maybe that's better, because then... Oh no, well then you can't. No. I think... Okay, fine. I'll just put it in the regular colour layer for now. Paste! There we go. And hopefully... Yeah, that's pasted over the line work. That was confusing me. So if I do that, there you go. Yeah, there's going to have to be some real cleanup here. Like, I actually have to delete all these table lines. That's okay, that's a job for when I come back. Oh, hold on, look, I've not filled up this one. There we go. Oh, that's annoying, hold on. let's go back to here. Yeah, so I can just fill it like this. Fill that. No, no, no. Fill. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer, that's why. Fill that, fill that. There we go. Alright, and now I go like this. Select all. Cut. And paste. Cool. And I'll try to remember that I've stroked all of that off. I'm sure I will do. Yeah. I wonder if... Okay, just before I go, I need to just make it really obvious to myself when I come back that I've done quite a lot of the work here. So I'm going to select a random colour just to like pick out some of the detail, because I feel like I'll just completely forget that I've done this. Just trying to think, what colours have I used with this purple before? Maybe I'll go for a pink, this lighter pink for now. I'll just pick out some of the details just so I know what I've done, and then I have to go. Just some of the details here and there. It's best I don't forget that I've done quite a lot of work here whilst talking about hailstorms. Yeah, sure, why not? Anything else? Maybe this one and this one. Yeah. Oh, look, I have filled up the wrong bit here, like an idiot. Back to this. Fill that. And then I need to delete, because I messed up here. Oop. That's what I meant to do. I meant to do that. Or even, hold on, I'm getting a bit confused here. Yeah, I was right. Like that. There we go. And then this. There we go, it's not meant to be there. Perfect. Alright. This eyedropper. Paste that there. Maybe do that too. Okay, and now I think I can leave it at that, because I'll know that these are placeholder colours. Okay, Shift M. Right. Yeah, they're definitely placeholder colours. Those look really insipid. But that's it, I think, for this stream. Cool. Well, thank you very much. And yeah, I think I'll be online between, this is going to sound like so long, but between a fortnight and a month's time. I'm hoping not a month. I'm sure I'll be able to fit in something like before then for sure. Whether it'll be like my regular Thursday slot, I don't know, but hopefully. Yeah, but anyway, appreciate you watching, and yeah, please don't forget that I am streaming, even so it might be a little while until I'm online next. And thank you so much, Paul, for all the help, and I'm sorry about the raids being turned off. I'll have a look into that. I'll need to work out if I need to incorporate any kind of more security type stuff into my chat. Like, I know, you've got Nightbot and all that sort of stuff. So I'll look into all of that. I'm still considering this early days in terms of the streaming. Alright, so I'm going to export this so I can look at it on my my telephone and cry over all the choices I've made with the colours, and upload the video to YouTube. So yeah, bye for now, and see you when I see you, I guess. Long time. Possibly. I don't know. Hopefully not. Bye bye.